Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Agape Media, and our class for today is just another beautiful one. So, without wasting time, let me welcome you back from the holiday that we've just had. And I would like to start by apologizing for not being able to make it up for our classes. And please, I kindly request that you understand the situation. It was really so abrupt and it was urgent and I had to travel. But I'm back, and so our classes will move as before. So wherever you are, just know we are back and our classes are going on. And please, if at all you had given up, please, this is the right time for you to regain that zeal for music production. So as you can see, this is Adobe Audition, and we're still going to continue. Last time I tried to record a video from up country and it wasn't so good. The environment, I didn't have the equipment and so on and so forth. But right now I want us to continue from there. So if you open Adobe Audition, this is something you're supposed to see. So we can just go ahead and create a new project by coming to File, New, then Multi-Track Session if we want to do mixing. Okay, so right, this is what we have. So let's go ahead and name or rename our file. So or our session, we can call these, let me call it Agape. All right, and the folder location, you can choose where you want to put it to. So for me, let me just go ahead and put it on the desktop, and I will just create. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the desktop. Template none. Sample rate, please keep it at 48,000. Yeah, you don't want to put so high, your audio will be too heavy. You don't want to put so low, the bitrate will be of low quality. So the bit depth, let's keep 32. That's the float one. Then the master, let's keep stereo. Okay, let's just go ahead and hit OK. Sorry. So when we click OK, this is what we have. It opens for us a multi-track session. And this multi-track session, we can just go ahead and bring a track on each session. Sorry, on each track here. So we can see track 1, track 2, track 3. So this one's they're all tracks. So how do you add tracks? You can just go ahead and grab your track. For example, assuming this is my track here, Excess Love Club 1. So I'll just drag it and bring it to Audition and put it on track number 1. And here it's converting the sample rate. So this is what we have. Okay, I may not be able, if I try to play it, I may not be able to play it because the same line, the output line is the same one I'm using for the microphone. The same I'm using for the microphone is the same one I'm using for the recorder. So I'm having the same output line for the recorder. And now again, I also want to play this at the same time, so it may not be able to do that. But you can always play. Click play, then your audio will play from here. So that's what happens. We can always play around with this timeline here. We squeeze it so that we can have a clear view of our audio, or we can expand it. Okay. So that's just a quick recap of what we tried to look at some time back. That was last time. So right now, let us go ahead and try to use some of these tools. And the first tool we have here is what we call the move tool. Just like in other softwares that we have also handled before, we know how to play around with the move tool. So the move tool allows us to move this. We can even change it from one track to another, from one starting point to another. Okay, so this red line is an indicator, and we use this indicator to tell us the time of the timeline. Okay, for example, this indicator is at 10 seconds, so we can make our audio to start at 10 seconds, assuming you want to have this song produced in a way that it starts with quiet background, and then after 10 seconds the audio pops up. So we can start with something like that. So that indicator, we shall be playing around with it. And this M is for mute. Okay, so assuming we're working on that track, we can decide to mute. So when we mute it, even if we play, we won't listen to anything. So assume we have another track. Let's say this one, trial. We call it, we can put it in track 2. So you realize now we have 2 tracks. We have track 1 and track 2. So you want to mute track 2, let's say. Once you mute track 2, you will play, and track 1 will be the one playing. Track 2 will not be playing. So that is what happens with mute. Okay, we can always mute. And we have solo. There's I'm going to explain about solo and mono, I think, later on. For now, let's just skip that. Also, we have this one here, the arm for record. If we want to record, we would just come and click onto this. We have this one here, and then we would go ahead and click on this, and we start recording. Okay, but we're not going to do that because it's the same microphone that we use for recording is the same one I'm using for recording this video, this class video. And if I do that, it's going to turn off the microphone, so means you will not be able to hear what I will speak. Instead, everything will be different. So for now, let's just skip that part. But assuming our recording is this part here, this first one, sorry, track 2, we can always play around with this timeline viewer so that this thing is big and we can clearly observe. Okay. Now I want to introduce you to these other tools. This is the volume. We already talked about that. You can always increase the volume, just like in FL Studio we said we can increase the volume by dragging this. Now 15 plus 15 means you've increased the volume to plus 15, so you can always bring it down. Okay, I wouldn't advise you to use plus 15 because that one is too loud and it can easily crash your speakers, and everything will be changed. So please just try not to go too high, but you can just increase it a little bit, not so much, not too low. Yeah, and another tool that we have here is what we call the pan tool. Okay, this is the pan tool. Here in Audition, we don't call it pan tool, we call it the stereo balance. We can decide to balance the stereo to come either from the left here or from the right here. So it's the same thing as panning. We can pan instruments in just a moment. Alright, sorry about that. Someone was trying to call onto my phone. But anyway, that's what I was trying to say. In FL Studio, we were saying we can pan this to the right or pan this to the left. But here, we don't call it panning, we call it stereo balance. So we can always balance the audio to one side of this. So that is what happens. We can balance it to this. So it means to the right, we shall hear 7 times. Okay, it will be 7 more values bigger than the one you will hear on your left. So that's it. And we have default stereo input. You can always choose here default if it's chosen under default, or we can go with hardware. Then this one also we can choose. Anyway, these things are not so important, so I don't want to waste time talking about it. Now, what I wanted to talk about is the second tool. Let's go to the razor tool. We are done with the move tool. Let's go to the razor tool. Now, razor tool is for cutting the audio. Assuming there's a part of the audio which is not necessary and you want to cut it off, we just come to the razor tool. Then we come to the one you want to cut. Then we can cut. After cutting, you go back to the move tool to select the one you don't want. Then you can just right click onto it and go to delete. Then it will disappear, or let me undo, or you can just select it. After selecting, you click on delete on your keyboard key. Yeah, and then it will go. But make sure before you delete something, make sure it's the right one you're deleting. Okay, so that's why I always advise you play around with this window here to zoom it, and you'll be able to identify, use the indicator to put where exactly you want to cut it from, so that when you cut, you don't cut the wrong one. All right. Yeah, that's it. Now, another thing, still when you're playing around with the cut tool, you can always cut in the middle, because let's assume you don't like something that played in the middle, for example, between here and here. So we can bring our indicator from there, go to the cut tool or the razor tool, cut from this side. Also can bring the indicator this side. You can even cut without the indicator, but I always advise people to use the indicator, because without the indicator, you're actually looking for ways of getting lost. So we can bring it there, and then we cut it. After cutting, select the middle one, we click on delete, so the middle one will be deleted. So if we try to zoom it back, we realize that in the middle it's actually empty. So you can use the move tool to drag it back to close the gap, or not, or move it further. So that's how best we can be playing around with the razor tool. I'm just trying to be fast because we have lost a lot of time. So ladies and gentlemen, let us continue with our class. That was the razor tool. Okay, now another tool that we have is what we call the slip tool. Now the slip tool works in a similar way to the move tool. Now, but the difference is with the slip tool, it also allows you to slip this. It allows you to not to move the whole track, but you slip the track, parts of the track. Okay, now for example, what is happening here is we cannot slip it this side. We cannot slip it to the left, because from the left there's nothing, but we can slip it to the right. When we slip to the right, it means we are trying to slip through the other parts which we already cut off. We can actually slip it and bring it back. Okay, so we are sleeping. So that's the only use. But today is the first time I'm using it. I mean, why do I do sleeping? Yet I can cut and move. And this one is also one of the rare tools that we have. Okay, what we call the time selection tool. Time selection tool is also the same as the indicator. Okay, so when you want to move the indicator here, you just click from here. But if you're on move tool and you want to move the indicator, you have to click from up. When you click from the middle here, it does not show, so you have to click from up here. But if you want to click from here and it shows, so you'll come to this time selection tool. Yeah, that's it. So those are the few tools. Now these ones are not active because it's not useful in this particular window. So when we change to another window, we shall find its use. So basically that's basically some of the most common tools that we shall be playing around with. We shall be playing around with volume, panning, muting, cutting, time selection, repo editing. So those are the tools that we shall play around. The rest of the tools, they're important. We also talked about the recording tool, the play tool, the pause. No, stop. This is stop. This is play. This is the pause. This is a move, play head to the previous, move, rewind, fast forward, move play head to the next end, like that. So these are some of the things we shall be playing around in Adobe Audition. So today I'm just trying to excite you with this video to let you know that this is going to be very beautiful and very interesting. So right away from here, we are going to do some serious editing of our audios. So ladies and gentlemen, let us meet in our next video, and in the next video we shall be looking at some of the features here that we shall be using in audio editing, because the issues of cutting, pasting, copying, pasting, and moving and what those things, you can do it by yourself, right? I believe we all know how to cut like this, we all know how to move, we all know how to delete. So we shall be learning more of playing with this video, creating loops, and also on and so forth in the next video. But for now, let us pause there. My name has been Luke Davis from Agape Media. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.